Hi guys, sorry it took me so long to get number 3 out, but before we continue, make sure you have a firm grasp of the lessons in 1 and 2 because we're going to build upon them as we move forward. Today, we're going to go over the perfect fourth, perfect fifth, and major and minor chords. Perfect fourth, where our intervals are getting bigger now, so instead of doing half steps all the way and just counting how many half steps there are, we're going to use what we already know and just add them together. So a half step we know is called a minor second. A perfect fourth is simply a half step up or a minor second up from a major third. So the gap between the two notes goes from a major third and up one more half step. It increases by a half step. And because it's the same in a major or minor scale, we call it perfect. And you'll understand that better when we get to scales later on. Perfect fourth, basically, therefore, is a major third plus a minor second. So why does 3 plus 2 equal 4? Because the major third and the minor second share the same note in between. So you have to subtract 1 to make it mathematically make sense. What does a perfect fourth sound like? So the easiest reference I could come up with was the first two notes of Here Comes the Bride, otherwise known as Wagner's Bridal Chorus. What note is a perfect fourth up from D? So you start with D, and remember the formula is you go up a major third, which you should remember is how many half steps and whole steps, and from there you go up a minor second. So from D, a major third, which is 2 whole steps, is an F sharp. And from the F sharp, you're using the same note as the bass, you go up a minor second, which is just a little half step, which is G. So a perfect fourth up from D is G. All right, this one on your own. What note is a perfect fourth up from B flat? You can pause so you can figure it out and then hit play when you're ready to continue. B flat, you go up a major third, takes you to D, and you go up a half step from there, it's E flat. So a perfect fourth up from B flat is E flat. Easy, right? Perfect fifth, same idea, except it's a major third plus a minor third. All right, 3 plus 3 minus 1 equals 5. And what does a perfect fifth sound like? Think of the first 4 notes in Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Twinkle is the same note, and the next word, twinkle, is a perfect fifth up from that. What note is a perfect fifth up from B? It's F sharp, major third plus a minor third. What note is a perfect fifth down from F sharp? You should kind of already know the answer because of what we just did, but it's just to practice going the other direction. It's the same thing. From F sharp, you can go down a major third to D and then in a minor third to B. And keep in mind, just like in math, when you're doing addition, it doesn't matter what order you do it in. So no matter what, the minor third plus the major third will also equal a perfect fifth. So if you went down from F sharp a minor third instead of a major third, that would take you to D sharp. And then from D sharp, you go down a major third and that takes you to B. What's a chord? A chord is a layering of tones. This is my definition. I don't know what the technical definition is. I looked it up and it was too confusing. It just makes sense to think of it as a layering of tones. In music, we use them to fill out the sound. So you make it more interesting, right? So when a singer sings alone with no instruments, no other singers, he or she, I'm just going to say she, it's easier, can only sing one note at a time. So she's singing what we call a melody. And if there's words to the song, she's singing the lyrics with the melody. You can add harmony by layering on other tones, and you can use other voices, you can use instruments, and hearing those various tones together creates chords.
I'll think of you every step of the way. And will always love you.
When you first start with music theory, we're just going to think of chords as being made up of 3 basic notes. Okay, there are more than 3 in some of them, but we're just going to start with the basics, 3 notes. And we're going to start with the 2 basic chords. It's the major chord and the minor chord. The 3 notes that make up a chord are the root, the third, and the fifth. The 1, the 3, the 5. Okay, the root is 1, third is 3, and the fifth is 5. The quality, which is major or minor, of the third determines the quality of the chord. So the third is the most important part in that scenario. Now, if you remember, when we did our intervals, the 1, the unison, was a perfect 1, right? It was a P1 symbol. So that's the root, right? So the root is a P1. It's the same no matter if you're major or minor. And if you remember, we just learned the fifth today, the perfect fifth, that's also a P, a perfect, because that also never changes. But as you can see, the third, which can be a major or a minor third, is going to determine whether or not our chord is major or minor. Building a minor chord. It's really easy. You start with the root, whatever note you want to start on, and then you go up a minor third from that root, and then from there, you can go up a perfect fifth from the root, or you can just go up a major third from the third, because you know that a major third plus a minor third equals a perfect fifth, because we learned that. A minor chord is sometimes described as a sad-sounding chord. An example is the opening chord in the intro to the Game of Thrones theme song. What notes are in a D minor chord? You start with the D, you go up a minor third, and then you can go up another major third from there, or you can go back to D and go up a perfect fifth from there, which is the same thing. So a D minor chord is D, F, A. Those three notes make up the D minor chord. What notes are in a C sharp minor chord? C sharp, E, G sharp. Major chord, simple. Same thing we just did. The only difference is the middle changes. We're going to go from the root up a major third, and from there we go up a minor third to make it a perfect fifth total. A major chord is sometimes described as a happy sounding chord. An example is the opening three notes to the Star Spangled Banner. The words, "Oh, say." As I mentioned earlier, the first chord in the intro to the Game of Thrones theme song is a minor chord. The second chord in that intro is a major chord built on the same root. That intro is an easy way to hear a minor chord alternating with its parallel major chord. Major chord examples. What notes are in a D major chord? D, F sharp, A. What notes are in a C sharp major chord? This one's a little trickier. C sharp, E sharp, and G sharp. Now, some of you might have gotten C sharp and then an F in the middle. And you think, why are we calling that E sharp and not F? Because remember back in the first lesson, I told you that the numbers have to coincide with the spaces that we're moving, right? So C is 1 in the alphabet because we're starting on C sharp, right? So the next letter in the alphabet will be D something. It could be D regular, or we call it natural in music, or D sharp or D flat. And then the third letter is going to be the letter E. So when you're going up a third from C sharp, whether it's a major or minor third, it's always going to involve the letter E. It's never going to involve the letter F because that's jumping to number 4, okay? So that's why it's C sharp, E sharp, and G sharp. Quiz time. Write down these answers on a paper and then hit pause and then get back and check your answers. Here are your answers. A perfect fourth is made up of what two intervals? Major third plus a minor second, which is a half step. A perfect fifth is made up of a major third plus a minor third, or you can reverse the order, minor third plus a major third, doesn't matter. The three basic notes in a chord are called the root, the third, and the fifth. The quality of the third determines a chord's quality. The minor chord is sometimes described as a sad sound. Okay, another quiz. Hit pause, write your answers, and come back for the answers. Perfect fifth up from D flat is A flat. Perfect fourth down from C is G. The notes in an F major chord are F, A, C. notes in an F minor chord, which would be a parallel chord to F major chord because they start on the same root, is F, A flat, and C. What notes are in a B flat major chord? B flat, D, and F. What notes are in a B flat minor chord? B flat, D flat, and F. Let's do a little teeny bit of ear training here. That's what we call it in music, is ear training. It's like working out for your ears. What interval or chord do you hear? Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. So the first one was a perfect fifth. The second one was a minor chord. The third one was a perfect fourth. Number 4 was a minor chord. And number 5 was a major chord. That's the end of lesson number 3. Click the subscribe button if you want to get notified when I have the next lesson ready. Thanks. Bye.